Hey guys, welcome back to month 2 of the Tale of Four Gamers. So this month we are up to 600 points and I've got all the lads again. In a minute we'll each go through what we've added to our armies, but yeah, this time around we've got a slightly different game. Last month we played all against all. This month we're teaming up, and Sam is going to tell you just how weird our teaming up is this time.
Gimme. Right, so teaming up was basically done on the league points rather than a fluff reason. So it was person top of the league and person bottom of the league team up versus the two people in the middle. This balances out the scores in the games in general. So basically, if the top player is the best player, he'll bring the bottom player up, type style of idea. But then that means me with my Genestealer Cult Guard and Tom with his 1,000 Sons are teamed up against the Sides of the Emperor and the Tyranids.
Yes, the Sides of the Emperor, the most Tyranid-hating chapter in the Imperium, have been teamed up with the Tyranids. We are not happy about this.
Well, see, I come up with a fluff reason of the Sides have discovered a synaptic, damaging or confusing weapon and just confuse the Tyranids. So the Genestealer Cult have gone to Magnus to help him fix it, basically.
So, yeah, Adam, you're commanding some very confused Tyranids this month.
Pretty much just like me, confused and hungry, so that works.
Fair enough. And Tom, how many models are in your army this month?
I have on a mighty force of 2.
2 models. Anyway, with that in mind, let's go and take a look at the armies. Okay, so starting off with my Primaris Marines, this is just a smidgen under 600 points. Got my Lieutenant from last month, and he's going to have the Burning Blade and Storm of Fire as his Warlord trait. Then I've got my 2 Intercessor Squads. Both of these are up to 6-man this month, just added a single guy to each one of them, and they're the standard out of the starter box dudes. Whirlwind from last month, Vengeance Missiles, Stormbolter, looking very nice. And finally, my big addition is my Hellblaster squad. Again, these are out of the Dark Imperium starter set, but potentially very powerful, especially next month when I add a captain so they can get in his reroll ones to hit aura. But that is it. Fairly infantry heavy with a little bit of artillery support. 600 points of Scythes of the Emperor.
So, here's 600 point of my guard. So, starting off, we've got the 2 company commanders. They're still here from last month, but they have finally been joined by a command squad with a Voxcaster and a mortar, just because I can sit there at the back, out of line of sight, and boost the order range then, so I don't have to clump up so much. I then have my 3 standard infantry squads. Instead of autocannons, I've gone with las cannons in those, because las cannons everywhere is amazing. New addition, my Tempestus Scions. I got 5 there with 2 melters, just for something to drop in, be a little bit more aggressive, have a farboard scorer. And then 2 artillery vehicles type thing, so the Hydra and the Wyvern. Both of the heavy bolters in the hull, just cause. So that is 600 points. On to the next army.
Right, so this is my 600 points of Tyranids for this month. It's going to look very similar because those 400 points are exactly what I used last month, except I had a -1 Genestealer just to get the points back. Adding only this month a Trigon Prime, just because it can do everything, extra synapse, hopefully rip some more stuff apart. So, pretty simple, same army +1.
Hey guys, it's Tom here. These are my 1,000 Sons. Complete change from last month. Basically, the reason I changed them is because I want to take Magnus, and he's 430 points, 420, 430 points. So I had to drop the other stuff, but I will be reintroducing the other stuff when it comes up to 1,000 points. I didn't need much troop choices because obviously I'm teaming up with Sam this month, and he has plenty of troop choices. So obviously I've got Magnus and the Changeling. Reason I'm taking both them because the Changeling grants Magnus, being a Chaos Demon, a -1 to hit, so that's a good addition for 100 points, and it works on all demons. It works on Araman as well, so he's a -1 to hit because on the disc he's got a gains a demon keyword. So yeah, guys, that's what I'm running this month, and the other stuff will be introduced next month. Thanks very much. Cheers, bye.
So for tonight, the mission that we've rolled up is going to be Cloak and Shadow. So all the objectives are going to be played hidden, which is going to be fun, playing between two generals and strategizing while trying to not communicate with their opponents. So that's going to be interesting. We've gone for standard Dawn of War deployment. And as you can see, Tom's army is right smack in the centre of Sam, so he's got Magnus right down the middle, Changeling just a little bit in front, so their auras will overlap and they might benefit each other. Then we've got the Guard taking up nice solid positions here, with the Wyvern right at the back behind the trees, and the Hydra over there. Tempestus Scions in reserve. I've clustered the majority of my Primaris forces down here to benefit from this cover, with one squad in these woods to hopefully secure that objective, and the Whirlwind out the back, out of line of sight, to rain death from afar. Hive Tyrant is hiding behind the trees, and Gene Stealers are there again trying to get up the board without being seen too much, using cover to their advantage. The rest of the Tyranid army is in reserve, with the Hormagaunts planning to come up through the Trigon's tunnel, and then the Raveners being able to make their own tunnel. So that's going to be quite a nasty strike. So yeah, all ready to go. We finished deploying first, so Sam and Tom get a chance to seize the initiative. Lads, you want to seize? Hold on a minute, here we go. Oh, it's a 6. Nice one. Okay, initiative seized. Here we go. So seizing the initiative had a massive, massive impact on the game there. And as you can see, Magnus has gone a very long way. He flew up, and then the Changeling, who was also moved up behind those trees, tried to cast Boon of Zinch on him, but failed. Magnus then warp-timed himself to get nice and close to the Hellblaster squad before smiting the Intercessor squad for only 1 wound in total. He was a little bit unlucky there, but then Sam did some shooting from the back that did not a lot. The Hydra put 2 wounds onto the Tyrant. Oh, and the what are these guys called? Tempestus Scions deep struck here and killed 1 Gene Stealer, put 1 wound on the Whirlwind with a melter gun. Sam's bad luck with rolling dice continued there. The rest of the shooting was largely ineffective thanks to the cover and the fact Sam primarily targeted my Marines, who were all in 2-up cover there. He did manage to kill one of the intercessors from this squad with a stray mortar round, but not a great deal. But the impact was when Magnus charged. He went for my Hellblasters, who proceeded to overcharge, knowing they're going down anyway, might as well go down in a blaze of glory. Did 1 wound to themselves, and failed to do any wounds to Magnus after saves, so yay. He then cut them down, and suffered 1 wound in retaliation from my Lieutenant. But yeah, not a great start for us there. Magnus is a bit of a beast, and rampaging through our lines. Did you guys score any points this turn? They got first blood. Hang on, they're just counting their cards up. Secure objective 3, which is somewhere there, being secured by the Changeling. And they're discarding domination because it seems unlikely that the Guard army's going to do that. Right, here we go then. Tyranid and Scythes of the Emperor, turn 1. Okay, so the big story of this turn was obviously all the Tyranid reserves coming on. We had Raveners popping on over here, and the Trigon Prime and accompanying Hormagaunts over there. Our objectives were 1, 5 and 2. Sorry, no, Domination 5 and 2. Obviously we discarded Domination at the end of the turn, and I was able to score 2 with this squad here. I needed to get away from Magnus, so I pushed this squad out of combat and took some pot shots at that guard unit over there, killed 1 of them. And these guys did a bit of a better job in the shooting phase, targeting that squad for 3 or 4 casualties. The Gene Stealers moved to intercept the Tempestus Scions, but despite being one of the few charges that got off, they actually failed to wipe out the Scions. but at least that means they are locked in combat and safe for a turn potentially. The Whirlwind did just 2 wounds to the Hydra. I was considering targeting the infantry, but the plan was to have the Tyranids charge them. But the Raveners, 9-inch charge, failed it. Trigon, 9-inch charge, failed it. Hormagaunts, 9-inch charge, failed it despite using a command point. Hive Tyrant at the Changeling, 5-inch charge, rolled an 11. It was just a catalogue of bad dice, but apart from that, who had unnecessarily good dice. But then failed to wound the Changeling in combat. He did only a single wound, which was saved on the Changeling's invuln. So, yeah, and to add insult to injury, the Changeling then did a wound back. So, yeah, not a great start for us, but hey, at least nobody else died. And yeah, here we got 1 point, and we go now into the Astra Militarum and Thousand Suns, turn 2. So the forces of the Guard and the Thousand Suns really pushed their advantage this turn. Magnus, as you can see, has gone a hell of a way, jumping over here and then warp timing over here. He's also got up Weavers of Fate for a 3-up invuln save and was lining up to charge the Hive Tyrant. Other than that, the army stayed pretty static, apart from the commander there pushing up to get a little bit of a better line of sight, do some blocking, and this squad here just moving for a better angle. And to grab the objective there as well. But yeah, then it was time for the Guard to unload their firepower. So over on this side, this squad here killed one of the Raveners. Then this squad with the mortar killed another, and then the Wyvern got 17 shots off its 4d6 and completely wiped the last of the Raveners. So they are gone kaput. Thank you very much. Good night. Then over here, the Guard infantry squad there shot for the Hormagaunts and actually did pretty badly with first rank fire, second rank fire, only killed 3 of them. But then the las cannon and this las cannon here reduced the Trigon to just 3 wounds, so he's already in trouble. The Hydra tried to wound the Trigon with its heavy bolter, but didn't do a lot, but then opened up on the Hive Tyrant, and really good rolls to hit, really good rolls to wound, some abysmal armor saves, and so I think I said Trigon, I meant Tyrant. The Tyrant was completely wiped out before Magnus even got to charge. So points-wise, they scored objective 6 and objective 3. So that's pretty good, and yeah, a lot of our most powerful units, particularly the Hive Tyrant, are gone already, so things are looking really good for the other guys here. But we will go down fighting. So this turn we had 3 more objective to secure objectives. Once again we had number 2, which was an easy score for these guys, but then we had 5 and 6, so yeah, that was going to be a bit of a long shot. The main thing was trying to get these Tyranid units into combat here where they could finally achieve something. And we eventually did. The Hormagaunts took a couple of casualties in combat, or on the way in, or did they do alright? Oh, just 1 guy lost from the Hormagaunts. But they didn't actually kill that many of the squad, but at least they're locked down. And the Trigons in a similar situation, quite bad rolls to hit against the company commander, who really should not still be alive. But hey, he is, and that happens. But the Trigon at least is in combat, and is also locking down the Hydra, so that can't shoot next turn. Other than that, I pushed these guys forward and killed a couple from that squad there, and just one of them fled, so I think it lost about 3 in total. And the Whirlwind fired at the las cannon team that was the last survivor of that squad. No, it didn't. No, the Whirlwind shot at them. I can't even remember now. Yeah, the Whirlwind shot them, but didn't do a lot. And it was this squad down here. Shot for that las cannon team. Should have killed a lot more, but only did a single wound after saves. Dice just really, you know, I don't want to whinge about dice too much, but they've really turned against us this game. But we picked up another point, but we've still got both the tanks up and Magnus rampaging around, ready to kick everybody's ass, I think. So yeah, that is that. Here we go. Chaos and Guard, turn 3. Things have gone from bad to worse for us this turn. Starting up over here, the Hydra moved out of combat and he ordered the Guard squad to get back into the fight, allowing them to shoot at the Trigon. And although those las cannons missed the Trigon, and this las cannon missed the Trigon, the Wyvern eventually finished it off. It only had a single wound left, and just so much impact, so many shots. The re-rolling to wound finally finished off the Trigon. Changeling moved up here, and Magnus came over here. And as you can see, the squad in there are completely wiped out. Magnus charged into them, and there was no coming back from that. Magnus is just so powerful in combat. Earlier on, he had smited these guys as well. He of course is only here thanks to warp time, but before he warp timed, smited this squad, did 6 mortal wounds because he rolled a 10 and his smite does 2d6 mortal wounds over 10, and yeah, killed 3 of them, but they did pass their morale. Changeling tried to charge them, which to be honest I would have liked, because then my lieutenant could have started beating the Changeling round the head with his burning blade, but alas, the Changeling failed. Did pass my morale here, and end of the turn ended in them getting 2 command points behind enemy lines for Magnus, and Blood and Guts from Magnus, who's really been the star standout player of the game. But yeah, we are very depleted now. We have Hormagaunts, a Whirlwind, Primaris and Gene Stealers that are very out of position. But we're going to give it a go. On to our turn. So the battle feels somewhat lost at this point, but we're going to try our best. Gene Stealers were kind of stuck down here, very much out of range of anything, but they went towards Magnus in the hope they might do something, but a bad run move and a failed charge has left them a little bit out of the chance of doing anything. However, I did have Secure Objective 5 and also Mission Critical Objective 5, and these guys, as you can see, made it there. They obviously hopped over the rocks and then pulled off a really good 10-inch charge, make it into combat with air. Killed a few models, didn't manage to make them flee, but because of the objective secured benefit of being a Space Marine, we did at least manage to secure that objective, so that's a good start. My lieutenant got into combat with Changeling, did 2 wounds to him for 1 in return. Changeling being able to use my burning blade was a little bit of a pain, and other than that, the Whirlwind finished off that last las cannon dude, and the Hormagaunts got into combat with the company commander and killed him before losing the last of the Hormagaunts to the retaliation fighting from then. And Magnus took a wound. What did Magnus take? Oh yeah, my Whirlwind Stormbolter. Yeah, probably done as much contribution to the game as the Vengeance launcher's done all game, but yeah, did do a single wound to Magnus with a Stormbolter. But even with rolling 3 for our D3, we're still behind on points, and I think all the Gene Stealers bar the Hormagaunts are dead, and I've only got 3 Marines left. So, right then, Sam, pull the trigger. Right, so the end has finally come. As you can see, there is virtually no units from our force left on the table. So the 2 Marines, after their glorious charge up here, were wiped out because the 2 Guardsmen stepped back, did get back in the fight, allowing them, but also these guys, to shoot at them. It was eventually the Wyvern that did it, but yeah, that squad is wiped out. Hydra moved up to grab an objective, as did this las cannon team, because their fire support wasn't needed, because it was all about Magnus. Charged into the Whirlwind and the Gene Stealers, blew up the Whirlwind, killed most of the Gene Stealers for 1 wound in return, and yeah, basically left our force all but wiped out. I was able to put a wound on the Changeling with my burning blade from my lieutenant before the Changeling butchered him with his own blade. So yeah, all said and done, a victory for the forces of Chaos and the Imperial Guard. Good game, lads. Thank you very much. we had a good time playing that, and yeah, let's take a look at the post game. And there we have it, a crushing victory for the Thousand Sons and their Astra Militarum allies, or really just a crushing victory for Magnus the Red. Before I go on to the scores, I just want to say, if you are interested in seeing armies growing slowly in this kind of Taylor 4 Gamers style, adding a bit every month, then check out the Gibsons. It's Ant Gibson who does the channel, but he's called it the Gibsons, I think, because his family play with him. He's really quite fortunate, actually, to have a wife and a kid who are both interested in playing the game as well. So yeah, he's just started doing YouTube videos and has been following along with the Taylor 4 Gamers with his own army, the Crusaders, who are a Space Marine chapter that, like mine, mix Primaris and non-Primaris stuff. So yeah, definitely go and check him out. He's new to doing YouTube, so yeah, give him a bit of support. Anyway, without further ado, let's take a look at how we all scored. So starting off with Adam's Tyranids, he only added the single model this month, the Trigon Prime, but level 3 painting bagged him a decent point score for that. And you'll also see that bonus points has replaced point for adding something. This is because Sam's decided, because he's the one who's sort of done the rules, that if we keep all the models from the previous month, so don't drop anything from your list, you're going to get 2 bonus points. So as you can see, Adam didn't drop anything and added a new unit, so he gets 3 bonus points, bringing him up to a total of 9. My score is pretty much the same, 1 unit at level 3, lost the game but get all the bonus points available, giving me 9 points as well. And then on to Tom's Thousand Sons. Now, this is a very different way of scoring his points this month. Only got the 1 bonus point for adding stuff. Didn't keep anything from the previous month, actually. Completely redid his list with Magnus the Red and the Changeling, both at level 3. And winning the game gives him a total of 11 points, and some much needed points in the league table. And then we got Sam. Added the most number of units, but sacrificed quality for quantity. Now, no disrespect to Sam meant there, they still look perfectly fine tabletop, but they were rated at level 2, so score a point each, but the sheer quantity makes up for that. That and winning the game gives him 11 points. And as you can see, that means Sam has extended his lead, with me and Adam not too far behind and still pretty close. And Tom has really got off the mark properly now. So yeah, it's all going pretty well, but as ever, Sam is out in front. Okay, so a crushing victory for Chaos in the Imperial Guard there. Well done, lads. Nice one.
Cheers. Thank you. That was good.
Yeah, I think the big thing there was, well, Magnus. He's big in more ways than one. He's such an impact on the game. Just did not know. You had a little bit of a plan that might have worked, didn't you, Adam?
Yeah, trying to get a Trigon Prime and the Hive Tyrant in at the same time may have done something, but I'm not sure.
It may have done, at least on paper. It, in theory, does a lot of damage to him, but whether or not you could pull it off because he was bubble wrapped and he just got across the board so fast.
Yeah, I knew Magnus was going to do that because of warp time. But the main thing we were fearing was the Trigon's charge. If the Trigon had got to strike first with its D6 damage before Magnus got his buffs up, that would have really stung. And, you know, Magnus was a big part of our game. A bit broken to bring in like a 600 point, but...
Yeah, just a little bit. And I think we could have still pulled it back if the Trigon and the Raveners had been able to pull off their turn... Well, it would have been our turn 1 charges. But failing both of those, despite using the command point reroll, really just meant our one chance went out the window pretty early on. But still had a fun game. It was nice to test a few things out. Shame the Hellblasters went down before they could do anything.
New model syndrome, isn't it?
Yeah, and Sam was somewhat protected from new model syndrome on the Hydra because he'd played it in a game against me the other week where it really did suffer from new model syndrome. But yeah, what's the plan for next month then, Sam?
So next month it's going to be 2 games special. You get extra content.
Oh yes, you buy one, you get one free.
So it'll be 1,000 points. Me and Tom. Just standard Maelstrom, and Will and Adam standard Maelstrom.
Yeah, so yeah, it's going to be singles games. It should be a nice variation from the doubles, although we will go back to some doubles further down the line. And yeah, Sam, you've got to find out how you're going to stop Magnus.
Bullets.
Lots of bullets.
Lots of shells.
And I've got to find a way of dealing with a Trigon, a Hive Tyrant, and Adam, who has disappeared off shot.
Oh, he's sneezing.
Anyway, actually, I'm going to finish this on a question, because I'm trying to decide next month between adding a Redemptor Dreadnought, among other things, or the Inceptors, the jump pack guys with
Dreadnought.
so let me know in the comments, what do you think I should add, the Dreadnought or the flying guys? Anyway, thanks a lot for watching. We'll see you guys again soon. Bye.